So we're at the Tiki RV Resort in St. Ignace, Michigan, right across from Mackinac Island. Yeah, we're gonna do all the sightseeing stuff, Mackinac Island, drive around, Mackinac City, all that kind of stuff. But everybody's done that kind of video. What I'm really after is, can I find a dive bar in a tourist town? Let's see if we're successful. So we were told that Driftwood is the best place to stop at a dive bar in St. Ignace. It was the crew of Shepler's Ferry that told us this, so we're gonna check it out. So you might be asking yourself, well, just what is a dive bar? Everyone has their own definition. Here are some of the things I look for. Place where the locals hang out, everybody knows each other, including the bartender, and they look a little bit strange at you when you first walk in. They play bar dice. Shake a day is a favorite, but it can be any type of bar dice. Food consists of frozen pizza, chip bags, pickled eggs, pickled hog's feet, maybe burgers, but that's about it. There are games like electronic darts, pool, shuffleboard, or lots of video poker games. If you go during the day, it takes at least a minute for your eyes to adjust to the low light. There's no foo-foo drinks on the chalkboard specials either. Other indications might be condom dispensers in the bathrooms or things tacked to the ceiling. All right, so we concluded that the Driftwood Motel and Bar and Restaurant is not a dive bar. In addition to not having a condom dispenser or anything tacked to the ceiling, your elbows did not stick to the bar, and there was no shake of the day. It's a nice bar. The drinks are cheap, so you should go there if you're in St. Ignace, but it's not a dive bar. So after driving around St. Ignace, we concluded there really weren't any dive bars here. Johnny's on 2 was recommended, but they serve ahi tuna, not a dive bar, so we knew we were gonna have to drive further. On our adventure, we didn't find a dive bar right away, but we found a troll. Meet Benny the Beard Fisher. He's a wooden troll created by Thomas Dambo. He's about 30 feet long and stands 14 feet high, and parts of him, like his head and his hands, were created in Sweden and shipped here. And apparently, these things exist all over the world. Not sure what Benny is doing here, but he's pretty cool. From there, we headed a short distance to Upper Tquamanon Falls, the largest falls in Michigan. They're super cool, and you should check them out, but there's something else to see here. So we're doing some sightseeing. We're at Tquamanon Falls, Upper Tquamanon Falls, and they have a brew pub here. We're gonna see if this place qualifies as a dive bar or not. Let's go. The Tquamanon Falls Brew Pub was first built in 1996, but it looks a lot newer than that. Whoever owns this place does a great job of keeping the whole thing up. You can see the fermentation vessels behind the bar, and there's a selection of seasonal beers available. The dining room is spacious, and there's art on the wall for sale from local artists, and the food is quite good. Well, once again, we have failed in our quest to find a dive bar. This was a really nice place. The Tquamanon Falls Brew Pub was super nice in the state park, but it is not a dive bar. The brewery there is a really nice touch, and it's a great way to spend an afternoon after viewing the falls. It was time for us to head home, back to our campsite a couple of hours away. Maybe we would get lucky on the way back. We're in some little town. We don't know where it is, but we found a bar. It looks promising. It could be the dive bar.
We are in Trout Lake.
The Buckhorn in Trout Lake, Michigan has all the makings of a dive bar. It has a warm and friendly atmosphere where people clearly knew each other, and things tacked on the ceiling. This included a bear skin, and add to that a life-size Sasquatch, and things were looking up. And let's not forget stickers on the bathroom wall. Although there were no games per se and no one knew what shake a day is, the drinks were cheap and the surroundings friendly. I think we're getting closer. So the consensus is that the Buckhorn in Trout Lake, Michigan is a really nice local bar. People knew each other, but as a dive bar, not quite there. Didn't have shake of the day, a little bit too clean, and the menu was actually really nice, so it was too big. So not a dive bar, but a good local bar. Come here if you're in, what is this place?
Trout Lake.
If you're in Trout Lake, Michigan. Having failed 2 days in a row to find a dive bar in the UP, something surprising to us, we headed south over the Mackinac Bridge to the LP, the Lower Peninsula. Actually, I'm not sure if they call it that, but that's really what it is. The whole state is a peninsula of some sort. Anyway, we were heading to Paskki, a town Pam had visited decades before, and she thought it was kind of cute and we might have better luck there. We did notice the intense damage from the huge ice storm that hit the area at the end of March, causing damage to almost 1 million acres of forest. The state has done a marvelous job of getting things back up and running, although there are apparently a few areas without power. Given our previous failures, the crew decided to change tactics and hit a local winery. Now, as far as I know, there's no such thing as a dive winery. There are a number of them in the area, and we selected the Paskki Farms Vineyard, Winery, Coffee House, and Lavender Farm. Winery is set in a farm field with lavender. Unfortunately, that wasn't blooming. I bet that's really beautiful when it does later in the year. This little winery is really well appointed. The gift shop is really nice, and luckily for us on this day, the weather cooperated. We were able to sit outside, which isn't how it normally was on this trip. And the presentation style was something to behold as well. Pam and I decided on the coffees, and man, were they good. Get a flight of coffee, whoever heard of that? And we just couldn't resist the brick oven cauliflower crust pizza. So we just got out of Paskki Vineyards and Winery. Definitely not a dive bar, but definitely awesome. So if you're in Paskki, stop over. It's really great. The young sommelier at the winery suggested we try the Mitchell Street pub as the best dive bar around. So we got in our car and headed into town to check it out. All right, we're going into the Mitchell Street Grill, which is supposed to be a dive bar.
Gonna go for you?
No, I'll get another later. All right, so far we're off to a good start.
It's dark in here.
Dark. It's quirky. It's awesome. Mitchell Street Grill is fun. Dark with so much stuff on the walls, you could spend hours looking at it. A moose head, books, pictures of visitors over the years, and yes, even a condom dispenser, if you can believe that. Dive bar? Probably not, but a fun place to hang out for sure. All right, so we were gonna go to Leo's Tavern because it looked like a dive bar, but no go, Leo's is locked up. At this point, we started to head back north towards St. Ignatius, but we had one more stop on our itinerary. The crew of Shepler's Ferry suggested we stop at the Keyhole Bar in Mackinac City, and that's exactly what we were gonna do. All right, next stop on our attempt to find a dive bar near St. Ignace is the Keyhole Bar and Grill in Mackinac City.
Keyhole?
Keyhole. No pets allowed. When we first walked in, we just weren't sure if the Keyhole Bar was a local bar or a tourist bar. Likely the latter, with the many tables and not too many people in it. It had many of the trappings we were looking for, however. Not too bright, a nice bar, but not ostentatious. No foo-foo drinks on a chalkboard menu, and a pool table. The beer can collection, a remnant of the 70s, was a nice touch as well. And the keys in the bar, well, that was pretty cool. It was a tough call, but in the end we decided it's one step above a dive bar. So did we ever actually find a dive bar? Well, the answer to that is we actually did, and it was back in Paskki, and it's called Ron's Place. Well, this place had potential, but it too is closed. It was closed, but as luck would have it, the owner and her friends were in there drinking, and they saw us, and they let us in, and lo and behold, we found the gold, the dive bar. And Ron's wife gave us the whole tour. And what is your name?
I'm Sharon.
Sharon, nice to meet
And
you.
my husband is Ron.
And Ron, oh, okay. So how come it's not Ron and Sharon's, or Sharon and Ron's?
Good question.
Yeah, it's
Because our son loves his dad more than me.
Sharon proceeded to give us the whole tour behind the bar, in the storage area that used to be a garage during Prohibition. The bar was a military members club, and you can see the plaques of some of them on the bar. And of course you can see the dollar bills and the flags and all of the other things hung up on the walls and the ceilings. Unfortunately, because the bar was closed, we didn't get a chance to drink there, but it was really enjoyable listening to Sharon tell us the history of the place. And boy, oh boy, it really does qualify as a dive bar. And of course, before we left, we had to get a picture of Sharon and her friends. So we were just in the dive bar of all dive bars, except they don't have Shake a Day, but we're willing to pass on that. Unfortunately, it wasn't open, but Shirley let us in. It's Ron's place, and that's his wife. They own it, but it's not open right now. They were just drinking by themselves, but they let us in. They drink alone. So cool. Hey everyone, I hope you liked this little diversion. If you did so, please like, subscribe, helps us out. If you know any dive bars in the area, leave a comment, let us know. In the meantime, remember, adventure never retires. So until next time, carry on. Cheers.